Okay, listen up. Zenless Zone Zero has some of the most engaging lore in a Hoyoverse game. I like reading a good book or reading a terminal, but the biggest advantage is its use of audio clips. There's something special about hearing a moment that was preserved in time. Zenless Zone Zero has a total of 9 lore item sets with a grand total of 38 individual items. When you collect each set, you unlock a special quest related to that set. These lore items only show up in Hollow Zero, and you can only get 3 per day. They also appear randomly, which means if you don't get it on the first attempt, you have to try and try and try again until you get it. So after farming for about a week and a half, I finally collected all of them, and I'm going to explain it all to you. This quest is important because it gives information about the creation of hollows. The first audio tape is about a Defense Force soldier telling his superior about the rise of either activity inside of Hollow Zero. So his superior wants to send as many available squads to go inside and destroy as many Ethereals as humanly possible so it doesn't get out of control. But there's a problem. They only have enough supplies at the moment to send one squad. Now, one squad by themselves can't stop all the Ethereal activity, but they can slow it down to buy time for more supplies. The senior investigator gives one last order before the tape ends.
We're the strongest line of defense New Eridu has. Our soldiers will never allow themselves to be corrupted into Ethereals.
Sir!
Choose an advanced squad. In addition to their regular weaponry, give them each an extra bullet.
Our second tape is about that squad, known as Wade's Squad, and they have a new member. Zero was training with them as a recruit and would join Wade's Squad officially when he turned 18, which is also the same day that this tape is being recorded. But it turns out he's getting immediately transferred to another squad, which disappoints him because this is what he's been training for.
But I've been training as a reserve for Wade's Squad. I promised the team I would stay once I turned 18 and passed the assessment.
Wade's Squad has gone on a mission. They'll be gone for some time.
But then I could...
Enough questions, recruit. Pack your bags and report to your new squad tomorrow.
Trust me bro, you are so lucky. With that tape, we also get this measurement device. This device measures the Zenless limit, and thankfully it stopped right before it hit the red line. If the meter did hit the Zenless limit, then another sub-hollow would have formed. Now that brings us to the title of the game. When etheric matter reaches the Zenless limit, a new hollow appears. Zone Zero probably refers to something similar to Ground Zero, which is the origin of something. Putting that together, Zenless Zone Zero is most likely referring to Hollow Zero. That makes complete sense to me. Hollow Zero is the center of focus for the entire game. It's the whole reason that everything in the game exists. So it makes sense that the title is referring to it. I also have a small theory about the origin of Hollow Zero. For a hollow to form, you need etheric matter. My theory is that some institution found ether, and because of human nature, they got curious. Maybe they saw the potential in it and started to experiment with it, but they didn't realize they were messing with something beyond human understanding and screwed up, resulting in Hollow Zero. As for who did it, who knows? It could be a lot of groups, the government, the White Star Institute, Helios Academy. This is a twisted knot of a conspiracy, and we are slowly unraveling it. The last items we get is an unused bullet and a withering sample from an Ethereal. I know that it looks like an empty casing, but the game says it's supposed to be unused, so I'm going to assume that it is. After we collect the items, we meet Zero, who is retiring from the Defense Force, but he wants to lay his metal to rest in Hollow Zero to honor Wade's Squad. We take him deep into the hollow, and we see an Ethereal that's different from the others. It even drops what looks like an earring. Zero wants to take the finishing shot. It's a very somber moment because Zero spent some of his formative years with Wade's Squad and he didn't even get the chance to say goodbye. It's a moment that got completely ruined for me because a million wants to fire the Gatling at it. Zero recognizes that his comrades on Wade's Squad were given an impossible mission and that they reassigned him to protect him. We pay our respects one last time and the mission ends. This one has 2 audio files. The first one captures the moment when the Hollow Zero disaster happened in the old capital. We can hear sirens and panic on the streets. 2 men take advantage of the chaos and rob a bank.
Hey, now everyone's gone. I bet the bank is empty. How about we make a quick score? Besides, once the hollow reaches here, the cash in the bank will be gone anyway. Why let it go to waste?
They grab the cash and they drive out of the hollow. Yeah, good luck with that. This brings us to our second audio file where they're lost and one of the robbers is looking for his phone. This is when we hear them slowly turn into Ethereals, but they have a special mouse tool up their sleeve.
When you have to shoot me, Just aim behind me, and I'm sure you won't miss.
Partner, it's not that I don't want to. My hand seems to have crystallized already. And I'm not sure what it's gonna end up looking like. I'm thinking, if I turn into an ethereal first, just put me out of my misery. Turning into an ethereal sounds gross. I don't want to dribble and wander around going, ugh, ugh.
Horrifying. 10 out of 10, loved every second of it. We then find the bag of money and a cell phone with an unsent message asking whoever finds this money to send it to Carol. She's in the hospital and this money should be enough to cover her expenses. It turns out she's alive and doing well. You can actually find her on 6th Street before collecting all the items. You see, Carol has a problem. She wants to know why her big brother is missing. She tries to investigate, but her guardian keeps getting in her way. The proxy helps Carol distract her guardian, and the guardian tells us that she's been lying to Carol. She told Carol that her brother was a big shot hollow investigator, and that's why he's always busy with missions, which is why he hasn't come home yet. But Carol, she wants proof. We can choose to tell the truth, or we can continue the lie. I chose to tell her the truth, and if you do, you can take her to Hollow Zero. There, she'll place a bouquet of flowers and get the closure that she wanted. This is a much shorter set because there's only 3 items. The audio tape is a recording of a seminar about ethereals having symbiotic relationships. We also get a pen from the seminar and a book about symbiosis.
From what we have been able to observe, the ecological chain outside of hollows has not altered very significantly. Inside the hollows, however...
Do you mean, in that case, ethereals are also a biological species, yes? Do they also form symbiotic relationships?
A monster like that can't be compared to a natural animal.
If ethereals could form symbiotic relationships, it would be terrifying.
Now, if you need a refresher because you don't remember high school biology, which is fine, because I needed to look it up too, symbiosis is the long-term interaction between 2 different species. This can be mutualistic, which is when both organisms benefit, commensalistic, which is when it's neutral, or parasitic, which is bad for one but not the other. The quest isn't that interesting, unfortunately. We do help a researcher get more data about ethereals, and we help her with her symbiosis research. We don't even get to see the results of her research, which kinda sucks. What is interesting is that ethereals are not just mindless monsters. They have similar behaviors to animals. This makes ethereals much more complicated, but also more terrifying, because some animal behaviors are the stuff of nightmares. So this audio is about 2 White Star Institute researchers, Dylan and Joyce. The White Star Institute is in charge of researching hollows and ethereals. The Institute are also the ones that had Fairy's strongbox before it got stolen in the prologue. Joyce is in charge of a new observation point within Hollow Zero, and Dylan is a recent graduate that hasn't made much progress since graduating.
I know Dylan. Not a single academic thesis published in your 3 years since graduation. The sole entry in your record is a fainting incident during a hollow investigation before being carried out by your colleagues. Your only redeeming quality seems to be an above-average ether aptitude.
Hey bro, it's okay, me too. But he's going to be Joyce's new assistant. The next audio file features a variety of Dylan's audio diaries. One journal recording reveals that the observation station was experiencing record-high ethereal activities and was attacked by ethereals. Everyone had to be evacuated, but that meant that all their research data was going to be lost.
With the observation station being attacked by several ethereals today, we've been evacuated out of Hollow Zero.
My data? Oh, I put my heart and soul into it.
Our research data was left back at the observation station because we were evacuated in such a hurry. Hopefully we can go back and retrieve it all tomorrow.
Really? Can we really go back and retrieve all the data tomorrow?
I said hopefully. Please don't get the wrong idea, Miss Joyce.
The other items that we get are pretty mundane. There's a pillow, a letter of recommendation, and a termination of construction notice. As for the quest, we actually get to meet Dylan in Lumina Square, but now he's a renowned investigator. It turns out that he and Joyce went back into the Hollow to get their data, but they almost didn't make it out. They escaped the Hollow because Dylan brought a homebrew bangboo that he modified. He continued his research and created a bangboo that can perform auto-rescue missions and assist people from within inside Hollow Zero. His bangboo are the elite bangboo assistants that you can find inside Hollow Zero. Anytime you get a buff from those bangboo, you have Dylan to thank. This set is about 2 Hollow Raiders that use fake IDs to sneak into Hollow Zero so they can make a quick buck. Rock, or Parker, and his unnamed partner successfully sneak into the operation, but their lucky ticket turns out to be fool's gold.
Mr. Parker, investigators will be briefed in conference room 6. Please go straight inside and turn right. Mr. Parker?
Oh, yes. That's me, Mr. Parker. Thank you. We'll be off then. Moving. Quit dawdling.
There's a sucker born every minute.
It turns out that whoever's in charge of this HIA operation doesn't care if Hollow Raiders sneak in because he can use them as cheap labor to get the data he needs.
Is it really okay to let so many unofficial investigators in? Especially when they look like Hollow Raiders?
What's the issue? It doesn't matter who they are, so long as we can get some valuable information out of it. Besides, those Hollow Raiders went in on their own. They've saved us loads on protective gear and supplies.
But the fatality rate...
Their names aren't in the official records, are they? So let them go. As long as I get some data out of it, they could be a dog for all I care.
With every institution, there's always going to be corrupt individuals. I understand that Hollow Raiders are doing something illegal, but this attitude of viewing them as less than human and using them as fodder is not good. The other item we get is Parker's fake ID. It's also funny because the game points out how obviously fake the ID is. We then find an old man cursing outside of the HIA building. We learn that he was Parker's partner. We go into the Hollow and find Parker's wallet, which has a picture of the 2 men in their younger years. This quest shows that there might be some shadiness within the HIA. The Blossoming Out of the Ruins set is about a Defense Force squad that encounters a special Ethereal called Nineveh. The squad escapes her, but their captain, Dennis, gets separated because of the fog. Luckily, there's a hollow shelter nearby and he hides there until the fog clears out.
Visibility around here is too low. I can't determine my current location, but there's a hollow shelter here. I'll hide inside.
Things seem safe, but Dennis gets distracted by a flower. The problem is, that's not a flower.
A pink flower.
A flower? What's so amazing about a flower?
No, I've never seen such a flower. You have no idea how beautiful it is.
What's that sound on your end? Hello? Hello?
I can hear it. It's comforting me. It knows everything I've been through.
The monster. That's the sound of that monster from yesterday. Dennis, it's an illusion. Dennis, where are you? Give us your location.
No, it's not an illusion. It needs me. Just a little bit. Just a little. I can feel it wanting me.
Don't go over there. Dennis! Dennis!
Once again, 10 out of 10, horrifying. The other items we find are Dennis's headset and a withering sample that looks like it contains the remains of a person who was swallowed by an Ethereal. Even the game says, "Rest in peace." At Scott Outpost, we can find 2 veterans outside. After we show them Dennis's headset, they ask us to find his dog tags. We go back into the Hollow, find them, and give them back to the veterans. They're thankful for our help because they can clear their captain's name and prove that he wasn't a traitor. A cool detail is that if you go to Scott Outpost after some time has passed, you might find a young soldier that was inspired by Dennis's story and wants to be just like him. I like details like this because it really does feel like the proxy changed Dennis's legacy. The next set is interesting because this is about 2 ordinary citizens. The audio file is about 2 young girls, Darla and Lily. They went into Hollow Zero with a bike and a wish. There's an urban legend that if you go into Hollow Zero, there's a crystal door that can take you to any moment in time.
Darla! Darla! Did we shake off that Ethereal? I hope.
That there really is a crystal door. In the middle of Hollow Zero. Where you can time travel to the past.
The two tease each other about what they would use time travel for before going down a deep slope. Don't worry, they're fine. The other items are a button from a boy's uniform with the initials DR, and the weird girl that you get this item from mentions that she probably left it behind because she got rejected. Which, damn, that's tough. We also get a picture of a dog with the caption, "Will you still be my dog in the next life? I'll stay with you right until the very end." The last piece of information is a scrap of paper that informs us that the two girls were found by the Hollow Investigation Association and that they need to be re-educated on Hollow safety. Obviously, re-education can be a very loaded term, but I think in this situation it was more of a lecture or like a Captain America PSA. So you found yourself going into a Hollow. Did you know that's illegal? We also find Lily on 6th Street near Howell. The picture of the dog was her dog, Little Mercy. Whenever Lily went out of the house, Little Mercy would wait for her by the door until she got too old and eventually passed. Lily's wish is that she wished she could go back in time and be with Little Mercy during her final moments, so that Little Mercy wouldn't have to be alone. So I'm not a pet owner, but I do have a lot of friends that are. And even for me, this pulled on my heartstrings. I just know that this hits a little too close for some people. Our next set is the Hollow Proposal. This set is about a man that risks it all to get a piece of an ether crystal. One night, a Hollow Raider is drunk as hell and tells a Hollow investigator named Thierry about an ether crystal with such a high purity that it glows pink.
I saw an ether crystal at Hollow Zero.
What's so unusual about that?
I've never seen one of such high purity. You could see a faint pink glow from way away. Dude, if you got the skills, you should totally go take a look. It might be your chance to make a killing.
The Hollow investigator actually takes the intel and travels to Hollow Zero by himself, but he was followed by a woman. This is when we find out why he went to Hollow Zero.
That's it. That must be the ether crystal the Hollow Raider mentioned. See it? Give me a chance. If I pull this off, I'll give you the perfect proposal. I'll finally be more than just some investigator that even Hollow Raiders make fun of. I just need to get close enough to collect a small piece. Everything will be different after this.
Apparently, Hollow investigators don't get paid a lot, and this man is risking his life to get an ether crystal so he can afford to pay an engagement ring for his girlfriend Sharon, which is really freaking cute. Insane, but cute. Obviously, his girlfriend is the one that followed him into the Hollow, and she handcuffs herself to him as a symbol of their engagement and dedication to each other.
Handcuffing us? Really?
I've looked at engagement rings too. I know they're expensive. So I decided to use this as a symbol of our engagement. Be it now or in the future, I'll stand by you. Wherever you go, I go too.
Again, really cute, but absolutely insane. The other items are the handcuffs and a withering sample that has a piece missing. The good news is they got what they wanted, but it's unclear if they got out. We go to the new Eridu police building and find a young girl. You probably guessed it, but this is their daughter. When she grows up, she wants to go into the Hollow to see where her parents propose to each other. It's so cute that my lonely ass is going to walk into the ocean. Okay, this is our last set. This last set is different from the others. You get the items for the set by completing the Infernal Reap missions. It's also important lore because this is about Nineveh's origins. Unfortunately, there's no audio file or related quest, it's just items. We find a piece of expensive fabric, a box of seeds, a piece of a flower pot that's been sharpened into a weapon, a beautiful pink flower that has never been documented, and if it leaves the Hollow, it withers away. And finally, we get the diary of a young girl. We learn that a young wealthy girl ran from home during the Hollow disaster carrying a potted plant. Why is she carrying a plant? Well, it might have to do with her mom. Quote, "Taking this pot of flowers with me has been more troublesome than I thought, but I can't bear to leave it behind. I still miss my mother." End quote. The last diary entry is strangely written in a faint color with her finger. At least the flowers are still blooming. At least I'm free here. I'm happier than I've ever been. I've seen some theories online that Nineveh is one of the original 7 Void Hunters, and I'm not sure. The only connection Nineveh has with the Void Hunter is the color pink, which it's not the strongest connection, but stranger things have happened. If we find out that the Void Hunter got lost in the Hollow or she had a rough family life, then maybe. I will admit that the idea of the original Void Hunters being turned into special Ethereals would be interesting, but I really need them to be playable. Comment below if you have a theory about any of the lore that I just shared with you. I really like how Zenless Zone Zero implements its lore. It shows how Hollow Zero affects the lives of so many people in New Eridu. These small stories make New Eridu feel lived in and remind us that the proxies are not the only people that experience tragedy because of the Hollow Zero disaster. I can't wait to see how the lore develops, and I can't wait to make another one of these videos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.